It's just this cycle I haven't been as much in the like Pulsechain community, but I've always been an advocate, and I've always like, you know, been, even like back when they used to do those like hex spaces, I was always popping in there. So I've always like been a fan of all of it that goes on in this community. So I'm definitely going to try to immerse myself a little bit more, and just kind of really get the vibe, catch the vibe, and just kind of, you know, just be a little bit more, I guess I would say, like present.
Y'all ain't seen nothing yet, bro. Sack Daddy just started.
Yo,
Notice I just said back to all-time high. Like,
We already back at sack price. We're already over
Oh
it.
yeah, we're going way higher, baby.
I mean, it's only like a 2x away. It's like not like anything crazy to do a 2x from here.
that's what I'm saying. That should tell you how big a bag is of PLS, bro. Come on.
Launchpad that is going to be launching crazy projects out of there, trying to blow up Pulsechain and just bring the awareness to the masses, you know. So I'm super excited for all those things.
Dude, let's go. Like we were bullish, but like what you're saying is just like reinvigorating. Like I gotta wake up again tomorrow and just keep pushing, I guess. No, thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And like I said, I've just been on the outside, just slightly looking in, you know, like I said, I have a bag of it and everything, and I've been watching, but you know, I'm stoked for this. Like now that I see people are building, like they're taking the chain seriously, and you know, like communities like this are coming together, doing constant spaces to move forward. Like that's what we're all about, man. And went straight into the LP and was just farming ink the entire time. It went all the way down to the bottom, bro. People were overselling the shit out of Pulse, but it's gonna moon, man. I'm excited.
I love that, brothers. You know what I love about the
You know
Pulse
what that-
community is that you guys are crazy and like are all for everything you guys are doing, but you guys also love to educate people. You know, it's not just like yelling at people over, you know, like, oh, buy my thing, buy this. It's like, no, you guys want people to like know what's going on, learn how to make money.
What's been going on with Pulse? So
No, man, no. I got into Pulse, like, you know, I did the sacrifice and everything back when you know, it was just hex and stuff, but you know, like it took a little while for everything to come up, and then other things, I was getting into other things, so I just kind of stepped away from Pulse. But I've been looking into it, going to gopulse.com and seeing all the, you know, the volume and like all the new projects building and stuff. So that's awesome. Like all these new things popping up. That's great for Pulse. I think Pulse is going to be huge, and everyone's super undervaluing Pulse, you know, especially all this like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko who won't list them properly. Like it's so underrated. Like
a lot of the things are organic and built by the community, be it in this case dev tools and so on. We're trying to aggregate some of it with another project that we're doing is Pulse Coin List, of really helping new developers to get really onboarded, and you know, have all of the resources in one place to get started and be building. And even like on the you know, supporting side of things, it's like something that we're currently looking into to maybe support builders of any facet with credits, right? Be it in this case GitHub credit, AWS credit, you know, any credit that you might need on the tech side to essentially just get started and then building. So yeah, so it is a very interesting community, all homegrown, grassroots, and continues to do so. It just takes a little bit, and just looking at the past 8 months, there's been a lot of stuff that has been built already. Most of it without a centralized foundation, without you know, money being pumped in, and so on. So yeah, it's an interesting spot for sure.
Oh
yeah, really cool to get all these different perspectives here.
Art had it on the Hex website for, I don't know, some months. It was the one with all the rocket ships and like talking about like the X's. So like I knew Richard from back in the day, so I've always supported the stuff, and I haven't really talked to him recently, but yeah, that's why I've always been kind of glued in. And yeah, so and like I said, I'm a day one sacrificer for Pulsechain too, so I'm just diamond handing, and yeah, I appreciate everyone giving me all the good info, and I'll come through more often. I'll try to, you know, be a part of the community and you know, help wherever I can.
Yo, real quick, Coco, you in here talking about Richard and stuff. Do you think Richard owns any NFTs, man?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't never asked him. I'm not sure. That would be, I don't know, maybe the copies on the Pulse chain. I don't know.
You think he didn't want exposure to the NFTs? I'm just curious, man. I personally don't think he actually cared.
I don't think he cared either.
He's also like a dude who like will hate something, but he knows it's gonna do something, and he'll like put money into it, you know? Like I don't believe that he didn't put any money into Ethereum, dude. That's bullshit. There's no
Of course he
way
did.
he did not put money into Ethereum.
Of course he did. He's smart. He's a smart dude. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't never really talk to him about his stance on NFTs, but I mean, he knows he likes marketing, right? Like he likes virality. So if NFTs bring that kind of thing to Pulsechain, then I'm sure he's not mad at it, right? So
Yeah,
he's probably sitting back, like watching all this stuff unfold, and be like, "Well, shit, community is basically taking the helms now," you know. So that's kind of yeah.
man, I kind of don't know though, man, because like if you just study like the way like Richard's mannerisms and like how he like it's just his ethos. He's a very focused guy. Like he's always like focused on whatever it is he's focused on. I mean I could see a world where he never bought any ETH because he's just like and the other thing too is like to be a good salesman, like you really got to believe in what you're selling. And it's hard to do something that is like the opposite of what you're doing and still be able to sell with that kind of conviction. And I don't know, man. You could be right, I could be wrong, but I just feel like he was so all in on.
Yeah, no, that's a great take, brother.
Yeah, and they can, every time Ethereum, do a soft fork like an upgrade, they implement it here as well.
So what's happening with Richard Hart these days? I've not heard from him. Well, I've not actively looked, to be honest.
He's
But
got the top 11 lawyers or more in the world, and he's fighting the SEC.
all right, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not sure if he's going to win though. What do you guys think?
He's going to smash them.
Yeah, he's gonna win. He's
You
gonna
reckon?
whip ass. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, okay, so break that down for me. Why such confidence there?
Well, we've got a.
I don't know, by the way.
There's a lawyer.
I'm
You need to watch
completely
his
neutral
videos.
on this.
There's a lot. We're not. There's a lawyer that's in our community that puts all the tweets up about from his experience. But if you just go and research the team that he's got, like these are like the most renowned, feared law firms in the world, and the language and everything he's used for everything he did leading up to them saying you've done this and you've done that, like it's all baseless, and they're going to get schooled.
I heard he donated 28 million for everybody's health.
Yeah. I don't think of that case as nothing more than a hindrance or a stick in the spokes of progress, because it's like it was just out of the blue. Somebody came up with some bogus claims, and there's no grounds for it. There's no reason for it other than the fact that that's what I could say. Is that would slow progress down and cast a bad light on the whole project, but that's casting a bad light on a project for people who don't know about it. It's the same thing. Like I was just going down a rabbit hole of a project that's on another chain just today, for example, and as soon as I saw like four people wrote this is a scam, I just basically shut it off. I just I decided that I wasn't going to go in on it, and I decided to walk away from it. So that has the same effect on people that are no coiners or people who are just having very little experience coming in and seeing something written about Richard. It's a switch. People just see that and they go, I'm not going to go in and check anymore because that's enough information for me. And that's a shame because they're going to be missing out on a lot of good stuff.
You should watch all his debates. He slaughters everybody, and he's been right this whole entire time.
Yeah, everybody. It's like there's not one person he's actually had a conversation with that he doesn't just like wipe the floor with them. He's so knowledgeable, and he has such a good understanding of both macroeconomics and these crypto economics markets. So yeah.
And this is referring to like hacks. Does these allegations come up about hacks?
No, the allegations you can read the complaint. It's registered. You can go into the SEC's website and you can read what the actual complaint is, and it's something like intermingling funds or something like that. And they do that to a lot of people though, because it's like if you file a case against someone, you can do the case goes against that person and 100 John Does. Because it's like it opens a door for you to add things to the case. And it's like you could just put up some kind of random ubiquitous statement and file a lawsuit. And that's one of the things about the United States legal system that I really don't like. It's just out of control. Because it's a money-making machine. You know, you think about the legal system in the United States, and there's all these attorneys, all these judges, all these court systems that are all involved in that big scheme, and it's a vicious, disgusting machine. But it does nothing but slow down progress, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've not read into it at all, so I can't really comment. I mean, if somebody had said to me the SEC had come after him for Hex, I'd have understood that, but I was kind of surprised to hear it's not about Hex. This is about intermingling of funds. Yeah, interesting.
And yeah, even embezzlement. And it's like, how can you embezzle something that's yours? You know, it's like it's absolutely there's no grounds there. So
And
I
the
don't know.
SEC
I
is
think that
making.
the whole situation.
I can't wait for them to produce the TXIDs and prove 100% without a doubt that they are tied to him. Good luck with that.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that I found that I fell in love with about any kind of cryptocurrency, blockchain transactions is one of the things that, my ex-wife, she was all very nervous about. And I said, look, I have records of every single transaction I've ever made throughout history. And I said, that to me is cool because in the regular banking industry, I used to have to go into the bank and ask them for, logs of my transactions. I'd have to physically go in there and ask them for a printout. But now it's like it's all there. It's all in black and white with a couple of keystrokes. I can pull it up. So it's pretty amazing. But the other thing too is like what I was amazed when I went into the official website of the SEC, just the number of lawsuits that they file it's like completely overwhelming. It's like they just throwing darts at a dartboard and just blindly, filing suits against all these different, crypto entities, and it's just ridiculous. You don't see that happening anywhere else in the world either, too. It's like all these companies are just like that's what it is. It feels to me like it's nothing more than to throw up hindrances in the way of progress, and they probably have their reasons for that too.
Yeah, I couldn't comment without knowing more information. And what I do know is that these topics are very complex. We reviewed our token for quite some time in terms of because between a utility and a security, there's a scale. It's not just it's either a security or either a utility. There's somewhere in between, right? And depending on how the token was launched, what the token provides, what the utility is, does the holder get any benefits, right? All of those questions come into play as to whether it would form a security or a utility. So I do know it's very complex, and the lawyers for sure will be battling backwards and forwards on this sort of embezzlement side of things, I'm sure. But let's see. Let's see what happens. What's everyone's thoughts on the price action of Hex? I haven't actually checked in some time because I know it took a big dump a while back.
The chart, people say it's no good, but I mean, that just comes down to the way the ICO/sacrafice went. There's a lot of weight in it early on, but as far as the actual, like from a technical standpoint, we could do with a better block scanner, but the actual chain itself, it's just purring along. Like, it's doing what it was designed to do. Validators are growing all the time. So from that point of view, it's been super successful. From a price point of view, then we went massively down for a bit, the SEC FUD, and then now we're grinding back up.
And what was the original, the Pulse chain itself? What is that based on? Which blockchain?
Ethereum 2.0 staking. Proof of stake.
Oh, it's a layer 2.
No,
right.
It's a layer 1. It's a complete system stake copy of ETH 2.0. Everything got copied.
Okay.
Every contract, everything. Every coin, everyone got everything that was on ETH, full system stake copy onto Pulsechain, the whole lot.
So whatever you had on your wallet on the time of the fork, whatever you had on your wallet on the time of the fork, you had a full system copy. Even your address is the same and the seed phrase is the same. All you need to do is go to MetaMask. If you have a MetaMask, utilize MetaMask, switch the network settings to Pulsechain. You can do that with chainless.org to make a search of Pulsechain, and then just automatically connect the wallet. That will automatically copy the network settings. And then on the upper left side, you have the networks that you are on, and you switch it to Pulsechain, and you can see all the tokens on your Ethereum wallet that your Ethereum wallet had on the fork. If you haven't noticed, you might even have NFTs that at a certain point after the fork you sold, and you still have that copy on the Pulse chain because the system copy was before you sold that NFT, for example. But it's on the Pulse chain side.
That's funny. I'm going to go check right now. I was just going to say, I guess it's all worthless unless there's some form of liquidity put
All
in,
the
right?
liquidity was, we had a fixer bot at the start that went and balanced all the liquidity pools, extracted and re-put it in there. So people did quite well out of the copies, which they got for nothing at the start. But then on top of that, some of those have got narratives now and people are running with them. And so some of them actually started to pump some of the copies, even though, you know, some of them are somewhat of a meme coin because the original team hasn't come over to like build a front end, and just we're hoping over time, if they get priced out in the exorbitant gas fees on Ethereum, technically they could just spool up the front end on Pulsechain and work out some fair migration system for their users and say, look, we're priced out here. Gas is making our product not manageable, not financially viable, or we can do this and we can move to this chain and move the the financial power over, and the tokens are all there. They've got a few. There's a couple of ways they could do it, but they own the keys to those contracts. They can and obviously they're front end, so they can do that. So some of the teams that had protocols in advance of Pulsechain, when it got the system state copy, everything got copied across. They just simply made a front end, a switch for Ethereum and Pulsechain, and they're running on both chains. And the Pulsechain version of the people that are in the community, the Pulsechain version is worth more than the Ethereum version.
Let's go, baby.
So I've got one wallet that says it's got $7.5 grand of USDT in it. But,
well, yeah, that's not backed 1-to-1, right? Not with the forked copy. The bridged in USDT is $1. But I know at the start, like I made a couple of grand off the the system state copy of DAI, just from the ratios when we first launched. But yeah, the forked copy, the system state copies of stablecoins, they're not backed. So only the bridged in versions are backed by these, obviously the underlying version on Ethereum.
Yeah. All right.
Like Crow,
so I've got a little bit of PLS.
Crow, I know Crow's been making some upticks. There's definitely some copies that came over that some of the communities are running with because they're trying to like build them up and then have those exchanges like what's the name of that exchange for Crow? I've gone blank.
Recognize their asset on the site.
Yeah, to try and say, hey, you look your coin that got copied over onto this chain has got a lot of value and a lot of community. Like, why don't you just turn it on your exchange? So there's a few passionate people running with some of this stuff. It's interesting. It's never been done before. A full system state copy of Ethereum. Well, they got front run by ETH Fair, but I think is that gone now or all but gone?
And ETHW. Those launched at basically on the same week, I think.
Well, ETHW was just the split from POS now, wasn't it?
Well, I got a copy of my stuff.
Yeah, that was a split. That was where ETH Fair was. They did a system state copy.
Oh, from what I see, there's not really a lot of action over there.
Yeah, that $7.5 grand of USDC turns out to be $12.69. So there you go.
And it probably would have been
bit of money I didn't know I had.
Probably would have been like $1,000 at launch. But you can swap that into Pulse and give yourself quite a bit of gas. And we have like DEX aggregators that'll get you the best deal.
Do you have like are these tokens on DEX Screener or something?
Yeah, Dex Screener, you can go to the Pulsechain and you can see there. We've got websites like Pulse Coin List, which has like all the different teams and all the different products that are on the chain as well. And so it's quite vibrant. It's, you know, for a chain, it's only come out in, was it May 19th or May 13th or
8
whatever it
months
was.
ago.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what's been achieved so far. We forked. You know, Gnosis Safe didn't come over, so that got forked. We got Gnosis Safe running on Pulsechain as well. If you don't come, we're just going to take.
Let's go.
Well, people looks like people are buying this token, so I might just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some narratives with some of them. Like I know Crow has had a bit of a push. There's a lot we're getting speculated on, but there is a community that are sort of getting behind Crow. Yeah, it's interesting. Just have a play around with whatever you had copies of, and if you're not sure, I mean, we do have the website where it does the token scanner. It just scans all your wallet, like can scan your wallet for all the PRC copies. And
You
we
could
got
use
some
Hocus Pocus.
Full
Fatty.io.
You could
scan.
use Fiat.io. Not
Fatty.io.
Fiat.
Fatty.
Fatty.io.
well, Fatty.
But
Yeah,
for some reason, it doesn't function very well anymore.
that's a copy of DBank, but no, there's an
Yeah.
actual there's an actual scanner on one of the official Pulse chain, like the Aragon side or whatever. Beacon, is it? Where you actually connect your wallet and then it just scans every token that exists on there and it populates them and says you got this, you've got this, you've got this. There's a couple of them now, scanner ones. I think maybe GoPulse have one too. There's a few of them.
Yeah, I believe there is one on GoPulse. It's funny because you when you hook up and you're going to do a swap, it brings up a lot of it brings up almost all the tokens that you have in there, except for sometimes there might be a quirky token or two that just don't get registered for whatever reason.
That is funky. Yeah.
100K in liquidity there. Now that means that with $200, I'm technically a shark in the liquidity pool.
Nice.
But like, okay, so I go over there when it first launched 6 months ago. I put $100 in.
Yeah.
The whole point is I've watched that ratio on that chart shift up, shift down. But all in all, my entire liquidity pair has almost doubled in size in 8 months.
Oh wow.
So by the time I
Wow.
hit the end of a year, that's a full doubling worth of fees that thing has ingested. Now, yes, I might take in permanent loss, but if I do, I'm trading one layer one gas token for another that I don't have any of. So I'm kind of okay with this. And then I've gone, what the hell? Like, so honestly, I put in a quarter of a tenth of a Ethereum and I put in 350,000 Pulse. Now it's currently 4/10 of a tenth of an Ethereum. So it's a little more Ethereum and it's 800,000 Pulse.
Oh,
So even with
wow.
all the up and downing and the fees growing, I am looking at significantly more Pulse than I had.
Wow.
And there would have to be a 4x in the price of Pulse against Ethereum just to half my supply of Pulse back to the 350 that I put in originally.
Nice.
So this has actually been a lot more of a stable pair to just sit there and earn fees. So crab market chart is one way to make fees so that, oh, holy, so crypto can be profitable even if price isn't going.
There's nothing, we educate ourselves. There's nothing more we can do. If it doesn't work out, then there's literally no money to be made. So it's not, there's nothing more we can do apart from just being patient. So yeah, I'm with you, bro.